Welcome to Embrace Relationships Television. I'm Kevin Harley, here again with Elder Dane Cunningham, and we're going to talk about relationships. Now, nowadays, Elder, relationships are getting kind of crazy. Define for me a retarded relationship.
Thanks for asking that question. What we have to realize is that when a woman is pregnant, she goes through 3 trimesters. Each trimester is a stage in which the fetus is developing. What happens is that if a woman gives birth to that child in the first or second trimester, there's a possibility that that child will become retarded. In the same way, in our relationships, we go through different stages. Now, what happens is that we jump from one stage to another stage. For example, if we go from the acquaintance stage to the dating or the marriage stage, if we do that prematurely without allowing the relationship to mature and to develop in each stage, we have the possibility of having retarded relationships. So many of our relationships are retarded simply because they did not mature, they did not develop, they did not go through the necessary process that would allow them to go to the next stage of a relationship. Each relationship goes through a simple stage, or you start out being a stranger, you go through a casual acquaintance, you go through intimate acquaintance, friendship, dating, and then ultimately you go through engagement and the marital stage. Now, whether you're looking at romantic relationships or whether you're looking at professional relationships, there's a reason that you go through probation when you start out at a job. You go through stages in that job before you can get promoted to the next level. What we have to understand is that any relationship will be retarded if it is not allowed to mature each stage at a time.
Okay, Elder, that's good. Well, what do you mean by a relationship that hasn't been tested can't be trusted?
When I say that a relationship that hasn't been tested can't be trusted, what I'm simply saying is that God ordains tests in each relationship before they go from one stage to another. What we have to realize is that just because you're a good friend with a person does not necessarily mean you'll be a good marital partner. In a professional relationship, just because you're a good administrative assistant does not necessarily mean that you'll be a good manager. So in our relationships, what is happening is we're going through different types of adversity, which is not only exposing the character of the individual, it's also exposing the character of the relationship. If you want to test water to see whether it's going to be a solid, a vapor, or a liquid, one of the ways you do is to change the temperature. In the same way, what happens is God allows an environment, or he allows a temperature change in a relationship, and it exposes it for what it really is. In other words, you do not want to commit to a marital relationship without understanding that it has to go through tests in order to prove itself. So regardless of the type of relationship that we're looking at, whether it's a professional relationship, whether it's a personal relationship, whether it's a family relationship or a ministry relationship, we have to realize that we don't want them to be retarded because we don't want them to move through the stages prematurely. And we also have to understand that a relationship that has not been tested, it cannot be trusted.
Elder, that was real good. You've been watching Embrace Relationships Television. I'm Kevin Harley, here with Elder Dane Cunningham. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.